All right, let's get the picks here now. I'm gonna start things off. I'm gonna go with the Bills myself for the reasons we talked about, but mostly because Josh Allen is playing outside of his mind. And if the Titans don't get out to a fast start, and if they can't control the clock, and they keep Josh Allen on the field and with the ball, it could get really ugly really fast. Cynthia, what do you got?
I have 25-23 Bills. Closer than expected, mostly because there's a lot of uncertainty, right? And sometimes uncertainty can work in the advantage of the team that's uncertain. So the Titans could come up with a game plan for 2 weeks against the Bills that we will now see something different than we've seen before. However, you're saying Josh Allen playing lights out of his mind. I'm totally with you on that one. Bills end up winning by 2 points.
I've got the Bills winning 31-20. I mean, I don't think Cynthia's statistical model can account for what the Titans have been through. They're missing coaches. They're missing players. They've gone through something no team ever has, and I think it's going to be an uphill battle for them to win this game. Ooh, I love it. You can tell Hawk is liking this Browns team. I do, too. The Colts are favored by 1 point in this game. Let's get to our picks, and I gave it away. I am going with the Browns by 2 points, 26-24. Sometimes it's not all about the quarterback. Baker, to me, seems like he's the same, but his offensive line is better. His running game's better. His play caller's better, and I think he's going to be better on Sunday against the Colts. Do you agree, Cynthia?
I do, and I love the margin for that. 25-23 is what I have. 2 points as well. I think this is going to be a fun one to watch. This might be my favorite game of the entire weekend.
I love it. I'm going with the Browns myself. You know what? This Colts defense, they played well, but who have they played? They played the Vikings. They played the Jets, the Jaguars, the Bears. They're facing a real offense this week that can run the football, and that's why I think the Browns are going to excel. All right, well, let's get to some picks here. The Steelers are favored by 7. I'll start things off. I'm going with the Steelers. I think they're going to be rejuvenated, to my point that I made earlier in the show. They're going to be fresh, chomping to get at the bit. And you know what? I have a lot of question marks about Carson Wentz, so I'm going with Pittsburgh. What do you got, Cynthia?
I'm totally with you. In fact, this is one of my finest picks. I really like this one a lot. I have 27-19 in this one. I have 8 points. I like the Steelers' defense to even potentially score a touchdown here. They're missing 5 pieces that I can count on their O-line. 4 are on IR, so there's a real problem with that O-line, meaning Steelers' defense could score a touchdown.
Yeah, I have a very similar score. The Steelers by 10. Hawk and I did the okie doke where we talked nice about the Eagles, and then we're like, well, you're not actually going to win this game. Have you watched the Steelers? I mean, they're a pretty complete team, and they should take this one.
Let's get to some picks here. The Falcons are favored by 1.5 points. I am going with the Panthers for the upset. Just what you talked about. This team is trajecting the right way. They're putting things together. The offense is really clicking, and they're finding their identity by way of being versatile on offense. So I think they have a big game this week and walk away with a W against the Falcons. How about you, Cynthia?
I'm totally with you. I have the Panthers winning this one 28-26. I think the interesting part about the Panthers season that Robbie Anderson is one of the Gase people. I don't know. It just goes something goes back to what Greg started with in this whole conversation.
That's right. I have the Panthers winning this game, too, by 3 points. I just can feel like a social media manager from the Falcons sending us this graphic. It might be a theme today. A lot of agreement between us, but I'm loving this Panthers team. Speaking my language, Hawk, the Saints are favored by 7.5 points. I am taking the Saints to win this game 28-20. It's nothing to do with my guy Herbert. It's just I think the Saints offense has been a little more efficient than people realize. They're improving, and the Chargers team is so banged up and not really the team that they expected to have coming into the season.
I started laughing when you picked that because I also have an 8-point win for the Saints in this one. A little bit different score, but 2 points? 31-23 in this one. I think the Saints defense starts to pick it up a little bit more. We've seen kind of not so characteristic situations from them, and I think you'll start to see Cam Jordan really bring that pressure in this game.
I'm going Lone Hawk here, which is not a thing, but we're making it a thing for this show. I'm going Lone Hawk. I'm picking the Chargers. I think Justin Herbert goes down there. He puts on a show in New Orleans, one of the toughest places to play against one of the best quarterbacks to ever pick up the pigskin to show that he is legit and that he is proper, Cynthia. Well, let's get to some picks. I'm going with the Patriots, and I think you're right, Greg. I just trust Bill Belichick's mind and coaching abilities to figure out football no matter what it looks like. He doesn't care who's at the quarterback, who's doing running back, what players he has on defense doesn't have. He's able to configure the equation to give his team a chance to win. And I think they win by more than one score against the Broncos. What do you got, Cynthia?
Completely agree. More than one score? I got 10 points for you. How about 27-17 in this one? It's all about the diversity of running backs. I think you're totally right, Greg. I think both of you have kind of the same exact thing as the model, right? You guys, we are now the collective model. 10-point win.
Well, I don't this week. At least it's a little closer. I have the Patriots winning 20-14. I've just been impressed by the Broncos' effort each week, and there's so much uncertainty with the Patriots right now and their availability. I think it'll be a close game to the end. Seahawks are favored by 7 points in this game. I think the Vikings keep it closer. I have it 35-31. The Vikings defense has not shown any improvement through the first 4 weeks. We talked about the offense. They have improved. The defense has not improved.
I have 30-24. I agree. They keep it a bit closer as well. Defense will improve. I think the Vikings will improve a bit in this one as well. And I think it's going to be a slower pace because as much as the Seahawks have been good against the run, Dalvin Cook is also very good. Iron sharpens iron. I think that this is one where they're going to have to keep Dalvin Cook going because he's going to have to keep that play action going, and that makes fewer drives in the game.
I'm going Seahawks. Russ, most passing touchdowns through 4 weeks in the season. Until further notice, until someone stops him, that's all I'm looking for. I'm looking for Russ, MVP, big test against Zimmer's defense. We'll see what he does. All right, let's get to some quick picks. We got the Giants and the Cowboys. Cowboys are favored by 8.5 in this one, and I'm going with the Cowboys. Dak has been playing lights out statistically. Now he gets the opportunity to get over that hump with a W. Listen, if it wasn't for his defense a week ago, they would have had a real chance to beat the Browns, but they gave up those big plays. So I think the Cowboys get over the hump this week against the Giants, who really don't know which way is up at this point. Cynthia, what do you got?
I agree with you. I have the Cowboys 32-21. I have 11 points in this one. I think that it's going to be a slower pace. I think more rushing on both sides of the ball. And maybe even if the Giants are playing from behind, I think they'll be smart to keep it on the ground. And Daniel Jones is accounting for pretty much all of their offense. So you could look to play Darius Slayton in this situation for fantasy.
I like the Cowboys to win. I have it closer, 31-24. Cynthia mentioned earlier in the show, Tyron Smith is not just out for this game. He's out for the season. They are missing both their tackles, so that's going to be a problem. I do think the Giants can put up enough points to keep it close. Our next game is Chiefs-Raiders. Well, you know which way I'm going in this one. The Chiefs are favored by 12. I have them winning by 15. Chiefs 35. Raiders 20. The Raiders defense just doesn't do anything well right now. They miss tackles too. They make a lot of mistakes. And I know the Chiefs offense hasn't been flying quite as high. If you look at the numbers over the course of the season, Mahomes is only 8th in yards per attempt, for instance. This is a game where he fixes all those stats and he goes wild against the Raiders.
Okay, well, I think that, like how your phone listens to you and then you see an ad for the thing that you were talking about? Well, my model must have been listening to you. I'm probably spying on you at home because I have a pretty similar margin, 34-21 in this one. That's 13 points. I think the Chiefs have a nice, strong win. I think you're right about passing yards for Patrick Mahomes, and I think we might not even get as many as 21 points on the other side of this one. What do you think?
Well, my phone is next level because it actually reads my thoughts, just like the Chiefs do. They are next level. They are going to whoop the Raiders. I mean, Greg talked about it. He says he doesn't think that the Raiders will ever beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I would even venture to say maybe in his career they would have trouble. Starting this week, big win from the Chiefs. Next up, we have the Jaguars at the Texans. The Texans are favored in this one by 5.5, and I'm looking for the Texans offense. I think they're going to get this W, and they're going to have a big game. Why? Because they have hope. Their head coach was fired. They now feel like they can play loose. They're going to get the best version of the running backs. You're going to see the best Deshaun Watson. The defense is going to feel relieved and play well, and they're going to walk away with a big win. How about you, Cynthia?
I have a 3-point win, so not quite as big. I have 27-24 in this one, and I have David Johnson slated for more than 69 rush yards. So the win and a nice run game out of David Johnson.
We're agreeing so much this week. I have the Texans winning too. I have them winning by 3 points. Their defense isn't great, but they have enough receivers. Their offense, I think, actually has played pretty well over the last 2 weeks. Dolphins are heading to San Francisco this week. The 49ers are favored by 9. points in this game. I think the 49ers win, but I think it's closer than that. Brian Flores, every week he shows you he's a good enough coach to just lose by one score. That's kind of the Dolphins' MO right now, and they're well coached. They're playing up to their competition. I think they do that even though the 49ers are a little healthier right now. What about you, Cynthia?
I think this score doesn't reflect how much I think the Dolphins have good hope for the future. I have 27-17, which is 10 points. And I agree with you. Brian Flores has figured a way to get some things going in this one. But Jimmy Garoppolo being back and what we saw out of George Kittle is just too much. Deebo Samuel, they're just getting healthier at the right time. So ultimately in this one, they had that weird loss. It was not what they were expecting against the Eagles. So I think they kind of take that loss out on the Dolphins.
I agree. I think the Dolphins are a solid football team. I just think the 49ers are a better football team. And, the 49ers dropped one a week ago, and this week they'll have a bounce-back game against the Dolphins, who will keep it close but will not win. All right, next up we have the Bengals at the Ravens. The Ravens are favored by 13 in this one, and I'm going to go with the Ravens. Actually, in this one, I also think it's going to be a lot closer than what the favor says. But just because the Ravens are such a well-rounded team, I think Joe Burrow will play a big game, but ultimately it's not the X's and the O's, it's the Jimmys and the Joes. Ravens have the better squad. Cynthia, what do you got?
I got 30-21. This one's one of my favorite of the entire week. One of my 33-19. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. 33-19 in this one. One of my favorite of the week. I think this is a big Mark Andrews game. I think that this is a big Calais Campbell situation. While I think Joe Burrow is going to have another good game, it's not about Joe Burrow. It's about the rest of the pieces, especially on this defense.
How about Cynthia's Freeland's Finest getting its own graphic there? I don't feel good because I'm going against the Finest. I have the Ravens winning, but only by 9 points, 30-21. Hawk talked about the Jimmys and the Joes. You know who's a great Joe? Geno Atkins, your old teammate. Geno Stacks is returning to the lineup. And you know what? The Bengals defense been a little bit better this year, so I think they can at least keep the Ravens to about 30 and keep it in single digits in terms of their loss. Finally, we have the Washington football team hosting the Rams. The Rams are favored by 7 points. This is going to be Kyle Allen's first start for Washington. I don't think the quarterback makes a big difference for Washington. I think the Rams' running game is what makes the big difference. They have become a run-heavy team, and they're great at it, and I think they control the pace, and they get a comfortable victory. What about you, Cynthia?
I am with you. This was also one of my finest, and it's all about showing you up with my graphic because you're funny and I'm not. I just do the math and get the good graphics. So that's where I'm going in that one, 26-17 in this one. And I want to point out one little thing here. I do have a passing or receiving touchdown for scary Terry McLaurin this one because Kyle Allen is good outside the numbers. He's going to have to throw the ball. Don't be worried. You can play him in fantasy. It's totally fine.
New quarterback, same result. Rams get the W here. Washington starts a new era with a new quarterback, but there's going to be a lot of questions even still going forward.